Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Areopa webinar. You might be used to hearing Luke whenever the webinars start, but this time it's not Luke. My name is Tine, and we are already on the number 90 of Areopa webinars. Today, I'm really happy to have Duilio Tacconi with me, and he's going to present on the topic of telemetry with Azure Data Explorer. I was listening to Duilio's session on Azure Data Explorer in Directions North America, and when I posted a picture of it on Twitter, everybody said, can he maybe do a webinar for Areopa? And he luckily said yes, and also just a minute ago, he shared with me that it's also a lot of new content related to telemetry and Azure Data Explorer, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll leave the rest of the introduction to himself in a little bit. But before I switch to him, I want to share a couple of housekeeping rules with all of you. First of all, your microphone is muted and it's going to stay muted. But if you have any questions, just post them in the GoToWebinars question window. And then we agreed with Duilio that I will pose the questions to him at the very end. As always, the session is recorded and will be published in the upcoming days to the Areopa Webinars YouTube channel, where you can also find all the previous recordings. If you'd like to know what kind of webinars are going to be here in the future, I would invite you to subscribe to the newsletter. You can either find it on this link here or on the official Areopa Academy website. Talking about what is coming up, we have quite a couple of sessions already scheduled for season 6. This session today, this webinar, is the last webinar for season 5. Then we're taking a bit of a break over the summer holidays, and we're coming back on September 2nd with everything you need to know about selling Copilot to your customers by AJ Ansari. 2 weeks later, we're going to talk about test automation, solid code, and revised test plan with Christopher and Luke. Then after that, my personal favorite, Arthur, is going to present on automating code quality. It's going to be his first appearance on Areopa webinars. Next, we have modular monoliths in AL in November by Christian. And another Christian is going to talk about elastic leadership applied for development teams. And then in December, Arthur is coming back with Tobias, and the topic is not decided yet, but we're going to hear from them again at the end of the year. If you are interested in becoming a speaker, we're always on the lookout to find more people who are willing to speak. So you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to Luke if you would like to get involved as well. But now, just before I switch the presenter mode to Duilio, I would like to thank our sponsor, Fornav. They're enabling us to be able to do these kind of webinars every 2 weeks. So thank you to the sponsor. And now, Duilio, I'm going to make you the presenter, and the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Telemetry with Azure Data Explorer. Since it is the 8th of July and it is almost summer, then you can see the beautiful landscape of my hometown, that it is Pesaro in the Adriatic Sea. So let's move forward with just a bit of who am I. I'm working with in the ERP system since 1998, and I think I've seen all of the faces of our beloved ERP system, NAV. So I started in a legacy system that was competitor with Dynamics NAV, local one in Italy. For almost 6 years, I did development with this ERP software. Then I moved to a customer that implemented Dynamics NAV 3.70A for 4 years, and then I spent my last 15 years as a support and escalation engineer in Microsoft in the technical support area. And then for more than 1 year, I am working at the partner here in Italy. That is the biggest ISV here in Italy and #1 for App Store SAP in App Stores. Actually, we have 120 plus apps. And also with this, I have my own blog. I am MVP since May, and then MCT, I also wrote some book about Dynamics 365 Business Central together with my partner in crime, Stefano De Migliani. Okay, so who knows me? I'm a very straight person, so let's go straight to the point. Before going into Azure Data Explorer, I just would like to have a brief and small recap of what it is this for. This is for analyzing telemetry, actually, and telemetry has two goals. One, it is the observability. The observability means I just want to see how feature or how my ERP it is moving in a timeline, so that I can take a static photograph, for example, 30, 60, 90 days or even more, and then I'm taking and trying to analyze the trends of different signals that are in telemetry. The second goal, it is the troubleshooting. Troubleshooting, it is just a little bit less related or more lax on a timeline, and it is just more similar on a just-in-time troubleshooting. It is not just-in-time because of signals that are emitted are asynchronous, so you don't have them, and then you can do something like, for example, debugging. But the signals typically are flowing in from 15 seconds or even less up to maybe 1 minute, depending on how this one are sent over. In this slide, you can see that every kind of application or Azure platform, whatever it is, an application that it is instrumented, can send signals into the Azure Monitor. The Azure Monitors, it is a big platform from Microsoft to analyze signals. In these cases, you have data that are sent by Business Central and then are collected into the logs. Then the logs is divided into different tables. One, it is traces, and the other one, it is the page views. The page views are the signals that are emitted mainly by through the client and through the web server, but those are anyway sent through the NST. Then those one, on top of the logs, you have an application, a software that it is used to analyze what it is ingested in here, to set up alert, to set up dashboards, or to maintain orientation policy over it, and it is called the application insights. From this one, we will see also just a little bit on log analytics, and then we'll jump into out on the Azure Monitor Suite, and then we'll go into Azure Data Explorer, and also that is also called Web UI for the one that are using and creating clusters. We don't do this. We are just simply using the Web UI. It is like in developer mode. So this one will come for free because of the only things that we will pay or your customer will pay or whatever it is ingesting will pay. Those are the ingestion part in the log analytics workspace. So one thing that is important in these cases, if you want to do observability or troubleshooting, actually, it is to choose the right tool. The first one, it is most probably everyone knows it, and this one, it is the logs that it is under the monitoring section in the application insights. And until I think some months ago, I believe that some of the most big MVP, even one that starts with W, was using this one to showcase all of the query that is got inside. And I think it was quite fall in love when it was presented by the Azure Data Explorer. Honestly, I'm using this one just to see if the application inside it is working and the data it is flowing inside the tables in the tracer for Business Central. After that, I'm completely not using this this tool here. The second one is the Power BI template. And you will find this Power BI template in the marketplace for the Power BI. It is completely free. Well, it is completely free of the template, but when you have to deploy this one, you need a Power BI license, and it is called Dynamics 365 Business Central Usage Analytics. This one, it is for the VAR or for the partner or for the customer that implement this one, and then there is another one for the ISV. This one, it is just a jewel. In my opinion, it is developed at the top with the best in class for data visualization, that it is Power BI, and it has quite a lot of pages, duties, and to me, it is a little bit cluttered, and it has its advantage and its disadvantages. Another one, it is this one. I don't want to stop this quite too much because I'm not using this anymore. It is called a Kusto Explorer, and it is the desktop application, the equivalent, the brother of Azure Data Explorer. This one has got much more color. It is deployed with the typical click once deployment. Once you're using this one, it is good because you can use your own queries and then run this one by one. It has just a little bit more capabilities in terms of charts. One of these, it is the time ladder charts that are missing quite a bit in Azure Data Explorer. For the rest, it does not have any kind of dashboard, so that you will abandon this one like you have abandoned the logs. And then it comes the Azure Data Explorer. Azure Data Explorer combines, I think, all the pros that the other ones that it's got. And it is very good because it has dashboards, and within dashboards you can group them into pages, more or less like you do with the Power BI, and but it is free. And every single tile that you built in your dashboard is just the result of execution of the query that could be displayed in the tabular form, or in a chart in a different format. So in the end, when I'm saying choose the right tool, just let's see what might be good and what could be the selection. Actually, this is my own selection. So let's start from the two wings, Log Analytics and Kusto Explorer. Log Analytics, as mentioned, it is good only for spot analysis. If you have now other tools available, or if you just want to see the things flowing into your Log Analytics workspaces, then forget about it, because you don't want anybody to access, most probably, the Azure that way. And it's got just a little low resources on analyzing stuff. The second one, it is the Kusto Explorer. The Kusto Explorer, it is good for just-in-time troubleshooting. It is free, it does not have any kind of extra cost, but it does not have any dashboard. So if you want to see things finger snap, and you see my finger snap at really, then it is just a bit of a problem, because you can run just only one by one every single query to determine how they are the things. Then the condense phase 2, and it is the Power BI and the Azure Data Explorer. Power BI is the best for data visualization, hands off, and it is built on really by Kenny, of course, and it is created and maintained by Microsoft. The things that I'm noticing is that the focus on creating and maintaining this Power BI is just might follow up the waves of where the money goes for Microsoft. So there might be some enhancements, some less, and it is my personal opinion that in the end this one will be given away for the partner to be maintained. The second cons that I can see, it is money. It needs just a Power BI license in order to deploy and see what the data are inside, and to run the visualization of the Power BI report. And this Power BI report, it is just taking the data from the Log Analytics workspaces, and then those are reported into the Power BI workspaces. And then you might set up a refreshing, but this refreshing, it is kind of cumbersome. So it is not good for just-in-time troubleshooting, or better, it is not so good for troubleshooting. It could be very good if you want to have a static picture for observability, but for this kind of things, I do prefer the Azure Data Explorer. Let's see why. First, because it does not have any kind of extra cost. It is zero. One thing that you might see if you type Azure Data Explorer, the first entry you will see Azure Data Explorer's price calculator. Well, the price calculator, it is because of the web UI, it is bounded in the cost of when you're creating clusters to analyze big data. And Azure Data Explorer, you will find in all articles related to security, data threatening, or to Intune, because this one, it is the main tool to analyze quite a lot of data inside. But we are just using these interfaces connected to the data that are coming from Business Central into the log analytics workspace that is created through Application Insight. The other things, the good things, it do have dashboards like the Power BI. Another good thing, it is these dashboards are based on ADE Grid. ADE Grid, it is the same as BC analysis mode. So if you go into analysis mode, then you play around with pivot, then it is then you have for free gained your training to work with telemetry. It is exactly the same component with all the goodies that you will find in Business Central and in telemetry on this side. The only drawback up to now that I found out it is that it just have less data visualization capabilities than Power BI. And for example, it does not have Spark lines like the Power BI. And this is good if you have pivot table to show this in graph mode instead of having numbers. And the second one are this time ladder. That would be good if you want to know exactly in time what happened at that specific time, and then you just have this time ladder graph instead of analyzing actually a static start date and end date for this kind of data. And the winner is, for me, it is Azure Data Explorer. Really, I'm using this one. I've completely almost abandoned the Power BI report, and then I'm using this one. If you want to know how to deploy this, those are the instructions. I've left this one already because of people might re-look at this, or you can go into aka.ms/BC telemetry and then navigate to samples app inside Azure Data Explorer, or go into one of the latest plots from Waldo to know how this one it is deployed, or you can follow me on the demo because we will start from scratch. Beautiful people, so fasten your seatbelt, and then for me, it is time to show you how this one it is working. Okay, perfect. We're just on time. Then let's start completely from scratch. So I just have my Business Central environment. There's no telemetry in it, and then I just want to start from scratch. First things to do, I have to go into the Application Insight and click Create. When I'm clicking Create, the things that I have to do, I have to give him a resource group. I can create new, or I can assign one of existing. And then I have to give the Application Insight resource name. Let's say BC Areopa. And then one thing, it is the Log Analytics workspace. I can create a new one, or I can assign another one. The Log Analytics workspace is the one that you're paying for. The Log Analytics workspace it will be divided into tables, and the ingestion will be done into this table. Then review and create, and then it will check if those names are reserved, if I'm entitled to create, so on and so forth. Then I'm clicking create, and then it will create for me an Application Insight resources where I can ingest data from different application sources. But in this cases, I'm just limiting this into the Application Insights. Well, just for the sake of this webinar, we have also implemented the Application Insight in the same Application Insight resources coming from Power Platform and also from Node-RED, means that from IoT devices when we are implementing the MES systems. Okay, so now let's go back to home and see if the Application Insight has been created. As you can see, BC Areopa has been created, and we are more or less good to go with this one. So what it is needed for Business Central to send signals into the Application Insights? Well, it is pretty easy actually. You just need simply the connection string. So I'm just copying the connection string in here. I'm going into Business Central. Actually, this is production environment, but it works also sandboxes. Then I'm going into Admin Center. And I've copied the connection string. I'm clicking Define, and then Enable Telemetry. I'm just pasting the string in here, and then I'm clicking Save. Be careful, because this one will dismount and then mount the tenant back again. So when I'm clicking save, as you can see now, I have the telemetry in here. And then if I'm going to environments, actually, I can see that this one, it is not ready, but if we are lucky, then this will become, you see, it is in modifying state because actually, yeah, let me see if the environments, yeah, it should work actually. Well, yes, and it is active. I was checking the sandboxes. Good. Now, right now, it is actually, it is okay. It is fine. So it should have already sent something into my application inside logs. And as I've shown in the previous slides, if I'm going into monitoring session and into logs, then it will present me, welcome to the logs analytics, and if there is an history, and then I can start typing some query, KQL query, custom query language query, and see if the data are flowing in. So data are flowing mainly into tables, into the logs, and are traces and page views. Let's see if there is something in the past 24 hours in the traces. Still, there is nothing, so sometimes it takes just a little bit. Let me go back to this one in here. And then, as you can see, I have yet another one where I can run the logs in here to showcase that this one, it is going on. And then I can take, for example, where timestamp bigger than, let's say, go 19 days, 19 days. Yeah, just to be sure that everything it is ingested. And this one should results. Yeah. That is the typical thing. Yeah. Let me go back to this one. And let's take this for traces. They should work just fine. Yeah. Oh, finally we got it. As mentioned, it might take some times. And this one actually, it is taking what happened. This one actually, it is related to this environment, and I can do work in here. But in order to work in here, I have to access this my Azure environment. But maybe I don't want to go into this one. And actually, if I'm doing run, actually, it will say, it will notice that this one, it has been just restarted. So let me make this just a little bit better, and then running some job queue entry in order to have some data inside. This is the typical things that I'm doing to see if this is flowing, and then to showcase other stuff. And job queue entries, job queue. Yeah, switching into English is better. Then we're going into job queue entries. And then I'm creating a new job queue entry with report 111, just to have some data to work in it. And then I'm setting up the recurrence. And then doing this every 2 minutes. And then setting status to ready, so that this one, okay. And then this one will run. Let's see if this one is running. Yeah, good. So this one actually should flow data in. Yeah, actually. If you want to continue working with this, you can do something like pipe, summarize, count by message, and then you can continue to work this one. But I would not recommend to do this kind of things. And you can choose, do you want a chart? And then you can change your chart actually to something different. For example, a pie chart or a donut chart. And then this one will show you actually what you got inside. The same things, actually, you're just one step away from connecting Azure Data Explorer. To connect to Azure Data Explorer, the things that you already need actually is just one thing. You need to know your subscription ID. And then when you know your subscription ID, you just have to go into ade.applicationinsights.io/subscriptions, and then you can choose the subscription ID where you have created your resources. Let me do this actually for you. And this one actually will connect into Azure Data Explorer, and it is connected actually to the cluster, to the demo cluster that you have it. And if you want to add the connection, then you can just paste exactly what you've got. Then let me switch the directory to be sure I'm going into the right one. Okay, add. And then let's see if I'm in the correct one as well. Yes. Yeah. And as you can see, right now you are connected to the same Azure Data Explorer, and it will give you all the instance that you have of the application insights. You have BCSS and BC Europa. And actually, you can run the same queries that you have on the other side in this query window. So if I'm doing the same things, such as traces, where timestamp bigger than, you go 1 hour, and then pipes, summarize, count by message, then I got exactly the same things. Well, I have to choose the one, actually BC Europa, I was on BCSS. You have to select this one, then you can run it. And then you can see we have the same things. And with add visual, you can add, again, the pie chart or whatever you want. And that is actually doing the same things as you do in the application insights. But this one, it is built in to do the same things. The good thing in this one, it is that you can add how many tabs you want, and then you can rename it. So you can edit this one, then you can call it, I don't know, maybe traces.message. And then this one can be saved actually. This one, you can save this one in here. And then you can create another one. And then with this one, then you can export it actually. You can select, then you can export, and then you can download this one, the one that you have it. Or you can do quite a lot of stuff with this one. And then you can create many of this one, right? But we are here for the Azure Data Explorer. The Azure Data Explorer, you can type whatever you want here in the query, and then you can pin this into a dashboard. But right now, we don't have any kind of dashboard. To create the dashboard, you just have to move into the dashboard sections, and then you can choose to create a new dashboard, right? Or create a sample dashboard. I would recommend the first things to do, it is actually, if you start looking at this demo dashboard. So let me do the sample demo dashboard. The first one, if you click on sample demo dashboard, it will create a dashboard. You can name it whatever you like, and then click on create. And then this one will create your demo dashboard. The demo dashboard will give you an idea of the capabilities of the dashboard, of what you can create, of what you can achieve within the dashboard. Once you have created, the first thing that you have to do, you just have to save it, and then this one means that this one it is saved, and then you move from editing into viewing. So the only things that you can do right now, you can simply interact with this one. So the things that you can do, for example, you can use this one that are parameters and change it from data point from 7 to 8, and you can see dynamically all the tiles that do have reports or data are moving on. The other one, this one in Markdown, those one are just one to showcase how to add links or something like that. There are very cool, very cool, like this one, graphs or charts that are based on specific things. So this, for example, if I'm changing this, then I'm going into Wyoming. If I'm changing this other one, then I'm going to New Mexico, right? The good thing is that this one here, it is, you can inspect the query, and then you can click on View Query or Copy Link to Tile, and then if you click View Query, then you can inspect the query. And this one, it is resulting in a tabular format. This one, you can continue and work with that, for example, New Query tab, and then this will create a new query tab, right, in here, and actually will position here so that you can do whatever you like and then change it. For example, instead of New Mexico, maybe I can change this one with Louisiana, I don't know. Louisiana, run. Will it work? Yes, it has worked. See? And then you can continue to do stuff on these things in here. The things that you can do, for example, once you have handled this one and change it, for example, the title, you can call it US regions, Areopa, whatever it is. Then you can click Pin to Dashboard. So you can work on it, and then this one right now you can pin to Dashboard. Once you click Pin to Dashboard, then it will ask you where you want to pin it, and then you can choose a dashboard. If you have many, then it will present you with many dashboards, and then you can add this to the sample demo dashboard, and then you can pin it and decide to show the demo dashboard after the creation. So let's pin it, this one, and then this one, it has been pinned to dashboard. Let's go back to the previous dashboard, that is this one, and then let's go back and in here again, and you will see that US Regions Europa has been pinned in here. This one can also be moved, editing and move it wherever you like. You can rename, duplicate, delete. You can move it, for example, in page 2, right? And then you can save it, viewing, and then in page 2, you will have your own custom tiles in here, right? This is super, very powerful. And then I just would like to show you other sample dashboard, and then we will go directly into the troubleshooting of a specific dashboard. Then we can go into sample server matrix analytics, and then click on create. This is another one that is used for metrics. And then you can save it, viewing, and see how this one it has been built in. And then the last one, of course, it is the one with IoT. And then this one, it is pretty cool because if you have sensor or if you're using through MAS, it also have some anomaly detections and time scale analysis that you can also use and implement through in Business Central. Now let's go back to dashboard, and we know that we can bundle this dashboard into on the BC Areopa that is currently sending some signals inside. Right now, I'm using a dashboard that I've shared on my GitHub, and this one I've also shared this one on the direction of North America, and mostly it is 85% of the things that I have to troubleshoot one single environment, every single environment in my daily job. So let me go back in here, and then let me import this dashboard. So how can I import this dashboard? Import dashboard from file. Of course, I have already downloaded this one from here, and then I have renamed it aeropa.bc.json because of the dashboard are just flat JSON files. So you can import and export no matter what. And then open this one. I can call it Business Central Insight. I can rename it. Let me create this one as Business Central site. As you can see, the first things that it does, it does not populate anything, because I need to connect this Azure Data Explorer dashboard with specific data sources. So I'm just clicking on data sources, and then I'm just editing the data sources, and then I'm changing this one with this one in here, with the same that I used to connect with Azure Data Explorer. Then Control A, Control B, connect, and then it will show me a database. I have BC SAS and BC Europa, and then selecting BC Europa and then apply. Then this one, as you can see, this one has been populating all my dashboard. And then if I'm clicking Save Viewing, then this one, it is actually live, and it is connecting to my application inside BC Europa, and I can start the troubleshooting. For example, remember that we have enabled the job queue. There should be some job queue statistics right now. And as you can see within this dashboard, I can see the one that has been started, finished, and queued, and then what's the state of this, and queued, started, and so on. I have added this one, for example, in the last 1 hour, this report ran 5 times, and the average time was 6 seconds, the max time was 16 seconds, and the mean time was 1 second. That was the first time, most probably, that the report was running, but right now, the most of this, it should be in the cache of the NST. And if I'm just refreshing, maybe I have this one, the sixth time or 7th time, right? And there's no errors. Okay. In order to showcase this one, I'm not continuing with this one, but because I have just showcased it starting from 0 to the end to have this one working. Let's see the same dashboard in a real live environment that I'm using to troubleshoot this. This one, it is a real live environment, and this one, it is one of the biggest that we have right now. So let me start with the first things that I'm looking at when I'm looking at an environment, the data ingestion. So let's check the data ingestion. I'm filtering this for, let's say, 19 days. This environment, this big, huge environment, it is our prototype, and we are using this one without filtering any kind of signals. So this is all reception of all signals. And we have a retention policy of 90 days, right? If you can see, the signals that are emitted by this environment are more or less 400 to 500K. And as you can see, this has processes, again, finger snap, 45 millions, more or less, 40 millions of signals. And if you look down the environment, 23 million of these records are the authorization of the incoming web service request, because we do have a B2C connected to this one through APIs, right? So this is the data ingestion. And if you want to see in the environment, not the environment, sorry, in the miscellaneous, those are actually how much this environment do have. We have mainly 150 users connected per day. That's a really huge environment. This one, it is running completely in SAS. So that is the data ingestion. One thing that I would like to show you in related to the data ingestion is this, the data ingestion, this one. This one will give you the summarized, the number of event count based on the time interval, and area and message are not part of any kind of the signals. How do I have picked this up? It is easy, because if you use this external data, I have created a JSON file, and within this JSON file that you can see here, I can populate the signals, this kind of definition. External data is just a call to an Azure Blob storage, or a call it to an HTTPS public one, such as the raw format from GitHub, and then it can return data. As you can see, I've not had all the signals, because of the signals are not documented by the application team of Microsoft. So I just need to find this out myself and changes this one, but I do not have time to do this one. And this is the data ingestion. So the other things that I'm looking in environment first, when someone is calling me, it is the environmental data. So let's pick it up the past 30 days, for example. In the past 30 days, what happened? So this is the environment name. It is a production environment. I don't want the sandbox environment. I'm filtering for this one. And as you can see, this environment has been updated, the component, almost daily, sometimes after 5 or 6. You know that Microsoft is patching the platform. And if you have a very high number of web services, this might hit you, right? And it is very important to know if there is a component version that it is deployed. This one, there is not a specific signal, but with a specific trick using a max bin, then you can say that a component version in taking whatever signal for an environment name will give you exactly what was the component version and when there was a patch in the platform. For example, this one, it is now running on 24.0.24.4.5.8, and it is running this since 5:10 or 5:11 in the morning of the 5th of July, right? Another things, good things of the environment, this environment has been upgraded in the night, in the 9th of June, and it was updated from 23.5 to 24.0. And this was in the night. I was there. I was the one that kicked in the upgrade from 23.5 to 24.0. And when this one, after 21 minutes, this one moved from 24.0 to 24.1. In this one, I can also spot out the data upgrade performance. There is another tile. And as you can see, 20 minutes was used for sales shipment, customer something, and the other one was for the number series upgrade. The number series upgrade that was moved from with the from to move to from the business from the business application to the business foundation, and it took just 1 second. This one was taking 28 seconds. Okay, past the environment, the things that I'm looking for are statistics. Well, statistics to me are super very important, and those are an helicopter view. Those are in the last 19 days, and the statistics for me are the ones that are counting most in every environment for troubleshooting. So when I'm connecting environment dry that I don't know, I'm just always looking at this one. So the first things that I'm looking at are the number of long-running SQL queries and AL methods. As you can see, there is a pattern. The long-running SQL queries were running fine, and then there is, from here onwards, there is another behavior for this environment. And if you look, this one was exactly starting from the 10th of June. When we upgraded, the number of long-running query was increased. But the thing is, it was increased, in my opinion, because of right now we have a working read-only replica. And in the sending of some of the signals into the read-only replica, there might be queries that are long-running. But this query, I don't care if those queries are just a little bit longer. If they take, instead of 750 milliseconds, they are taking 900 milliseconds, for me, it is fine as well. It doesn't matter. Those are not locking. Moreover, they're not going into the writing node. And the users stated that moving from 23.5 to 24, they had a relief in performance, actually. And if you look at the pattern, based on the long-running AL methods from here to there, it was not that big, that one. But there was also an increase in long-running AL methods, right? Another thing that you might spot out is that more or less the pattern is the same. You see these two from this week, from this other week. And then this other week was not running fine. There have been in the West Europe, and maybe the one that are participating to this webcast, or if you are looking this one on YouTube, maybe you recall it, that there was the 2nd of July or the 3rd of July, there was reported in West Europe a problem that most probably was due to the balancer. And then also this environment was it. But clearly this one started from the first, and then it was moved up until the third. And then when it was resolved, then everything was going back to the normal status little by little, right? One things that I'm always looking for, it is another things. These two here, SQL deadlocks and log timeouts. Those are the number of SQL deadlocks in being of 1 day. As you can see, when we moved from to version 24, actually it was just a little bit before because we changed something in the core, but was not actually that way. But when we moved to version 24, that loss was completely expired. Then there was a good impact on version 24. Also, when moving from version 23 to 24, and then we had these 2 bad days, and this one was related on the performance that we had on the problem with the balancer. Otherwise, we are running with in half of 20 between 6 to a topping maximum 14. Today it is 16 log timeout for 150 users that are working. That it is super good. And if you look at the web service calls, as you can see, this is quite a heavy environment. On average, they are running on 350 of this, 350 calls per day. It is quite heavy, and they have this BTC. Another thing that we are heavily looking at this one, it is, let me go down, actually. It is the week, summarized week. Sometimes if you have 1 day for the long running SQL queries, this does not give you an idea if you're improving or not. But if you take this in bucket of 7 days, that you know if you're improving or not, you can clearly see the trend. The number of long running SQL queries, it is strangely increasing, but the performance are doing good. So we just have to find out the justification because of the run. These long running SQL queries in here, and the performance are better than it was before. Most probably because the quality of these long running SQL queries are the ones that are running on the read-only node. And the same on the long running AL methods, more or less, those are the same that we can see previously. Not that more, not that much. This one suffers from the problem that I've mentioned before on the node. But the good things is this one. You can see there are almost no SQL deadlocks. So this one means that this environment, it is running pretty good. Yeah, that's super good. And also the log timeout was having a good trendy because we had 23 or 24 on average, or 26 on average per week, actually. But then this one, it has been exploded last week because of the problem that we have seen. We were doing good, but right now we have to keep an eye on this long SQL log timeout. Okay, another things that we are looking for, it is the page performance per day. Not in here, but I just want to do a drill down on this page performance per day. That it is another things that I'm looking for first, because of this one, it is just a measure on how it is the UI. So let me take this, for example, in the last 7 days. Okay, how this one it is working actually. Those are the page performance per single day. When this one, when it is not broken by Microsoft, of course, when this is one, it is working, then you just have for every single call a bucket, performance bucket. As you can see, this one, it is running on average between 0.5 seconds and 3 seconds. That is super good, and it is actually very, very good on how the UI it is responsive to the customer. So they do not receive calls stating that the UI is not responsive, but they have some low light in this. How we spot this out? There is a specific page in this dashboard on the page performance. And this page performance, let's take it, for example, in the last 7 days. And this one, it is grouping the page performance in the last 7 days. It is counting, and it is counting the mean time and max time, and that was the execution count. the number of execution time, mean time, the average time. And now you can spot out the low light of your pages. Well, you just have to go in there and then sort by the average. And then, of course, your execution count might be statistically, sorry, must be statistically good. So I'm just doing this one greater than or equal, let's say 300. 300. And then those are the ones that do have some low lights. Yeah. And then, for example, we do have post-sales invoice. This one, it is 3 seconds. Then we have sales order that it is good. Well, in my experience, when you are under the 3 seconds, let's say between 3 and 4, then the environment it is running good. We do have low lights on posted purchase invoice, and we have to refine something on the sales order. But for the rest, the UI it is quite good and responsive. Now let's go to another one that is the one that we are checking every day. If you have a problem, it is the SQL query usage. This one, it is this style here. It is very heavily used, and it is used for the just-in-time. Let's take the last 3 hours. In the last 3 hours, what was running actually? There was this query. This query, it is going into most probably into the node, into the read-only node, and it is run 1,329 in the last 3 hours, and it is covering the 36% of the long-running SQL queries. And the duration average, it was 1 second, right? But the ones I have underlined in blue, the ones that do have update UBT lock, or they are insert, or they are delete or modify. And in these cases, there have been 170 in this kind of things in OPD lock. Those are the 4% of the last 3 hours, but they take peanuts, 1 second. In my opinion, this is running good. The other things that I'm looking at, this one, as you can see, those are the long-running SQL queries. Those are the long-running SQL queries in the last 3 hours. And if you don't believe that these data that are coming are in real time, look at the data. 443, and right now it is 454. These are 20 seconds delta, right? So how I have built this in? This is all the traffic that is running, and it is generating long-running queries in the sending order. And I've packed up this one by IL object ID, type, object name, the duration, the type, if there are 4 fields, join, if there is UPD lock, and there is also the object information, the stack trace, the SQL statement, the isolation level, user telemetry ID, and session ID. If this one, it is very, very used to spot out if in this moment there are some problems, to spot out what it is running behind the scene and if it is trouble or not. Of course, it is very good to have this one in the Azure Data Explorer dashboard, and there are also comments. And there is also a legend on this conditional formatting and what these things means, right? Let me go just down a little bit. There is another one in the last 3 hours. Let's make it, for example, the last 12 hours. This is the SQL execution chart. I've called it this one. This one, it is the SQL execution chart. What it is, the SQL execution chart, this is the collection of all the long-running SQL queries in numbers, and those are divided by the one that are locking and no locking. So as you can see, the activities, if you can comment this out, and this one are the one, for example, and those are per 15 minutes per 10 minutes, sorry, and in 10 minutes, this one, there was quite an activity for this one, right? That's cool, isn't it? Another one that I'm looking for, it is this long-running query count and average per day bucket. This one, it is a pivot table, and this would be great to run with Spark lines. And if I'm taking this, for example, in the last 7 days, this one is taking all the methods in the last 7 days and will provide me the count per day and the average per day. With a little bit of tweak, you can do this. Let's take, for example, this one, this stock thingy. Stock. Yeah, let's take this one. This object was running 293 times on the 1st of July, 769, 703, and this is the average per day. So you can take the fluctuation. It was taking 6, 5.8, 5.8, 5.9, 5.7. Then you can spot out by changing this a little bit, even hour per hour. If there have been drop in performance of they are improving. If you transform this into something like a post thingy, that is what I just would like to show you, and then more or less I'm in the end of it. There are many things. I can spend weeks on this. There's one thing that is called post update, right? This post update, what it is? The post update, it is working, taking 2 time range. If I'm clicking the custom time range, I have to take when the last update was performed, the last update that was performed before the current one. The previous update was 23.5, and 23.5 was done actually by the 7th of June. No, it was the 5th of June. Okay, and the last one we have seen, it was by the 9th of June, and it was performed by in 6 p.m. Let's take 8 p.m. So if I apply this, then it will take 2 periods and compare them. So we'll take all the signal from the 2 periods, we'll join them and compare them. Let's take the page views. The page views, and then you can sort the delta and the delta in percentage, if it is positive or negative. So that's the delta. Let's make it this one with the low lights. So the low lights, it is on the payment application, for example. This one, in the previous update, it has been counted 1,000, and in the new update, 700. In the previous update, this was running with, on average, 29 seconds, and right now it is 33 seconds. It is 4 seconds less, and the delta, it is 40%. It is running slower, but there are also low lights. This is very useful if you perform an update. And if you update frequently in the SAS, this one will save time in understand actually which are the wrong running methods that are running bad, the ones that are running good, and what you can do to make this running good, to make this running bad. You can do the same trick of comparing 2 periods, also for the long running queries, and also for the API. This is still running because, of course, the API, we have millions and millions of API. As you can see, we have low lights and we have some highlights. This is due most probably because this API, there are some low lights, 1 second for this one, maybe most probably because there are data. So this one is running 60 seconds instead of 50 seconds with -7 seconds, because this one, it is taking all the data. So in a couple of months, then the data pool, it is increased. This one, those are highlights, because maybe those one are going into the, actually to the read-only node. And that was with, that's all from my side for the Azure Data Explorer dashboard, and I'm opening up to any Q&A that you have got about Azure Data Explorer, whatever questions you want.
Thank you, Duilio. We have one question. If anyone else has any questions, just pop them into the GoToWebinar chat. But Bert was already posting a question where he's asking, can you see in telemetry the difference between long-running queries performed on the read-only database versus the normal database? So that you could see which long-running queries are on the read replica, I assume, compared to the normal one.
Yeah, that's a good question. The answer is no. I've asked it many times because I want to filter this out. Actually, the read-only replica, it is a big matter of debate, because I feel that Microsoft think that this one does not give a big value, but if you have read-only replica, you can separate. It's like having another SQL server that is working on the read part, and then you separate the transactional part, and you don't care about this one. So the answer actually, it is not. But I have created actually in here a report, because I know that there is, see this report intent. This report intent in here, I just want to send how much I can, this report, let's pick it up, maybe 14 days. Those are report, and those one actually are read-write, and because of the intent, it is the default one. And those are going into actually the actual node. If I'm changing the intent, I'm pretty sure that if I'm changing this production label into read-only, then this one will go into the read-only node. But I don't know, I don't have anything back that this one has gone into the read-only node. But most probably it is a good candidate. If this one is going into the read-only node, then this one in the last 14 days has gone 5,550 times into one of the two nodes. And I can spare, actually those are 0.46 seconds, I can spare 2,000 seconds actually from the write node, right? And maybe I can take the other one. What it is the drawback in this one? The problem is that you have to know in advance if this one it does not have any insert, update, or modify. Otherwise, it will throw you an error. And I've tattooed in my skin because I've changed one of this, and one of this, it was the typical one that was writing the number of copies back. And this one, since was writing the number of copies back, I was receiving an error. So I cannot print this report. And then all the people stating, raising hand, hey, we cannot run this report anymore. And it was probably or the sales invoice or the sales order. It was the sales invoice, I think. We cannot run anymore. It was given an unexpected error because it was given into the read-only node. So you must know this in advance, otherwise you risk to make a bigger damage than sending this. And then, but tweaking this just a little bit on all this one, then you can take a great advantage and reduce the load that you have in the transactional node. But the answer is no. At this moment, you don't know if this is going into the read-only replica or not.
Okay. There are no other questions, but I still have one. So I personally never used Azure Data Explorer. What would be your suggestion to start? Just take the dashboard that you've created and try to look around?
Yes. So actually, there are 3 dashboards available. One, it is from Waldo. Well, maybe there might be more, but I can give you mine. It is the one that I give you. I've released at the Directions North America, and then you can start with that one, or you can use the one from Waldo that it is on his repo, or you can navigate to aka.ms/dc telemetry samples. Yeah, that one, and then you go into Azure Data Explorer, and then you download the dashboard.json. See this dashboard.json in here. This one, it is just as some of this. It is very, very old one, but it also have something where to start with, right? That is the way if you want to start. It is a good things. And also, if you want to master all the visual stuff, it is good if you go back into one of these. For example, the same demo dashboard will give you how to work with the Markdown. If you don't know how to work with Markdown, of course, and then you're good to go. So this is good things. And the Azure Data Explorer, it is really something that would be a game changer to monitor performance and also for observability.
Cool. Thanks. We had one more question, which was on your dashboard, there is a page, what was running? And Jeff is curious, what is it?
Yeah, okay. I can click you what was running. The what was running is actually the problem of all the signals that you have. It is that you have the timestamp that it is the signal, and then you have a duration, whatever it is called, duration, AL duration, or AL or total time, whatever it is. But you don't have the start time. The problem is that, well, let's say that you have a report that is running for 6 hours. You know that this report was running when the 6th hour is coming. So this what was running, it is taking 12 hours. All the signals that you have it, and filter out the one that in a specific time window are not there, or the one that are in there. Let me give you an example. For example, let me take the time range, the custom time range for today. Let's say I'm taking, let's take 12, or let's take 10:01 a.m. because maybe they call you what was running at 10:01 a.m. because we have this error. Then you have a timestamp, and you know that this is between 10:01 and then 10:02 a.m. Right? What was running actually inside, and then you click apply. Then this will run, and then we'll tell you exactly. Yeah, have I picked it up the right? Let me see. Yes, 8 perfect. Then this will run and will tell you exactly what was running in that minute, because it will take also something, a report that maybe was running for 1 hour, and then it was running also in that period, and maybe in that period was doing something weird. In this case, I'm just taking the duration, the total time, and by just doing a negative add, I'm just calculating the start time. Right? Let me see. Yes, that should work. Yeah. Let me refresh just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. That should be it. Yes. 10:01. There was just one service because I just made this one. There was not only this web service running, but there was also these other ones that were running, and they were starting long time ago, right? And then this was ended in between this date. That is what this what was running. It is meant for. Actually, maybe I took one of the seconds where there was quite a lot of traffic inside. Oh, okay, good. Yes. For example, long-running query. Those are the long-running query in this minute. There is nothing before in the end. And then let's see if we have some report that is running. Actually, processing time, it is not taking that long, but it depends on the filter that you have added to filter this one. Yeah. But as mentioned, this one has quite a lot of data.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, also says that's perfect. So that's the end of the questions. Let me just quickly make myself the presenter. Thank you to everyone who attended. Thank you to Duilio for a great webinar. And as always, follow us on YouTube channel where the recording is going to end up. Subscribe to the newsletter to know what's coming up. And that's all. Thank you.